T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. On today's podcast, we are honored to have Faulkner University President Mitch Henry with us to talk a little bit about Leaders Connect 2023 and what leadership means to him. And we'll get right to that conversation right after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is brought to you by Faulkner University's Leaders Connect Retreat 2023 on campus in Montgomery, Alabama on June 12th through the 15th. This year's focus is on helping your congregation thrive in a post-pandemic world. Your elders, deacons, preachers, and their wives, future leaders, and Bible class teachers are invited to be encouraged and encourage those who will lead our congregations in the future. You can get more information and register at www.faulkner.edu/leaders-connect-2023 or click on the link in the description of this episode. That's www.faulkner.edu/leaders-connect-2023. I'm Travis Creasy. That's All Pro Counselor Ben Hayes.
What's happening? We are thankful that you are all here listening with us today on another Tuesday morning. So thanks for being here with us. How's it going, Travis? You feeling good today?
I'm feeling good. We're in final exams. I am just wrapped up my 6th grade ancient civilization history exam, and I think they were feeling pretty good, probably because it's over. But running around like crazy, getting ready to go to Alaska a week from today, Ben.
I know, that's crazy. I am excited about it. We're going to do one of our kind of seminars up there on mental health in Anchorage. And so I've never been to Alaska, but I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to spending some time with you and Whitney, and my son Jackson's going to go with us. So it's going to be a fun time.
Well, as we said in the opening, and as we promised, President Mitch Henry of Faulkner University is here with us today. Thank you, President Henry, for taking the time to be with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Travis and Ben both. I appreciate what you do. Your show's tremendous, and I'm just thrilled to be sitting here and not taking an ancient history exam right now.
The whole thing of 6th grade ancient history sounds difficult for them. It sounds difficult for you. So
when I was in 6th grade, ancient history was not anywhere on my mind at all, anywhere.
That's why that education over there at RCA is top notch. That's fantastic.
It's impressive. We want more of your students there. We've got a few here with us. It's a blessing. Glad to have Riley Hall coming to play ball with us.
Well, I know that you got your hands full with Riley, and we could spend a whole episode talking about that. But maybe next time for sure. We've had Roxy Wisham on with us. Said he was phenomenal. He set the bar high. I'm sure that you're going to meet it, no problem.
What I'm really hoping is that you will send Landry, who's in your background there, Travis, to see us someday. She is tremendous. She would be a great student. And by the way, we have made a connection with the Alabama Service Dog group here. And so we're helping to, this next semester, God willing, helping to train some service dogs. So Landry would be a great addition to Faulkner's program.
She would love that.
Yeah.
She's never met a person she didn't like, I don't think so.
We have a dog named Luna that comes to Mars Hill every couple of weeks or so. Same kind of dog, and she just lays there, and the kids waller all over. They love it. So that's a good thing. I'm glad you guys have that program. In fact, I think it might have been when Travis and I were down there at Faulkner that y'all had the dog. They were bringing it in. One of the times I've been down there over the last year, the dog was there, and it looked like it was a hit. So the students are all over. Well, listen, we're grateful for what you guys do, what Faulkner does for the kingdom of God, and I know a part of the mission and part of the focus is mentoring leaders. So, from your experience, could you share with us some of the characteristics of good leadership as it pertains to the church and just in general?
That's a wonderful question, and it's a question that is needed today more so than any other time. Coming out of this pandemic, there seems to be a cultural shift, and we need people to be courageous Christians. We need people to be courageous in their leadership. And so one of the things that we encourage here on campus is to remind students that they're resilient, that they've come through a pandemic, and their generation, more so than any others, I believe is prepared in ways that are unique to deal with some of the things that we're facing. One thing that we're facing is a culture shift with regard to the definition of gender. It is a critical issue, and if we don't face that as universities, if we don't own up to what God has called us to do, He created them what? Male and female. If we don't step up to the plate and be courageous in leadership in that regard, while we're being sensitive to folks that may have some issues or struggles in that area, then we're not doing what we're called to do. When it comes to leadership, what we look for is courage. We look for people that have some grit and resilience, and we also look for people that are willing to serve. Servant leadership is critical. We like to call it vocational ministry here at Faulkner. I mean, the two guys I'm looking at on this podcast, you know, and the people who watch your podcast know that you are vocational ministers. You've got a vocation, but you minister to people in what you do. You also minister by the way you do what you do. You're good at what you do. But in addition to that, you look for those opportunities to share the gospel, the good news about Jesus Christ, the risen Messiah. You look for opportunities to do that every day, and you've got an open door, and you allow people to come to you that have challenges that are open to helping their faith grow, and you take advantage of those opportunities and don't let those teachable moments pass. So you two guys, you're the epitome of leadership. Proud that you guys have been associated with Faulkner University, and it's a blessing to be here and spend a little time with you.
And I've got to reach out to those Riverside kids, and whatever they've been telling you, I owe them some money for that, for sure. But my wife is the college career advisor at Riverside, and so she is, directly involved with Faulkner. We mentioned kind of before we went on, Mr. Randolph and the great job he does, and all of your recruiters do. And we're just kind of blown away by their care. Yes, they're recruiting for Faulkner, but they really care about each of our students and being in the right place. And I've just noticed that. And, that's not everywhere, but y'all guys do a great job of that. But y'all seem to do such a good job of plugging the students in. You mentioned Riley. Every time he comes home, I think he's got a different scholarship for some other role that he's taken on. And you just have a tremendous opportunity. I know I've seen you guys post all the time on social media about what your students are doing. What are some things, and you've talked about this a little bit, that you guys do at Faulkner to make sure these kids get plugged in and get involved and have the opportunity to lead?
That's a great question and great thought, and we try to be intentional about it. It starts with Bible. It starts with the Word of God. Every freshman that comes here and sophomore, they take Bible classes, and we're selective about who our Bible teachers are. We try to make sure we line up folks that are solid in their faith and that can help give some guidance and emphasize what we emphasize here on campus about being connected with your faith and being connected with service to others. So that's an important part of where it starts. We also have a class. It's a 1-hour class that all students take now. It's called Faulkner Foundations. And in that class, we talk about leadership. We make sure students understand what opportunities there are on campus to be involved in student government, to be involved in chorus, to be involved in supporting the athletic programs, to volunteer for service at chapel, to volunteer for service in our devoted 24/7 service days that we have. And we look for ways for students to connect with one another. We've got a great group of folks helping with our campus ministry and with our work with regard to student services, and they care about our students. We're selective on our faculty and staff. We try to hire people staff-wise who genuinely care about our students. There's other universities with bigger names, but you won't find a university with a bigger heart than Faulkner University. We care about our students, and I'm thrilled to be associated with staff that that go the second mile, that look out for students and do what they can to encourage them every day. One example I can think is we've had some students that were very involved in athletic programs, and we've got social clubs here on our campus, and we've had one social club in particular this past semester that's been reaching out and inviting athletes to be a part of that club. And it's hard to do. It's hard to be an athlete on the one hand and be involved in a social club on the other. But this club's doing a great job with that. And I won't mention their name because I'll get in trouble with the other social clubs if I'm touting one more than the other. You know how that works.
Yes, sir.
But we try to be very intentional. One other thing that we started doing since I became president last June is involving local folks in our churches in helping to mentor and spend time with college students. And what we do there is we feed them. We try to be selective and choose folks that are retired or choose folks that know how to cook to invite our students in for those home cooked meals after church on Sundays. And we are excited about what's been happening there. We've actually paired in as a pilot program last year in our freshman Bible classes. We paired couples. Some couples were husband and wife that worked here on campus, but others were just local folks from local churches with students, and gave them a Bible assignment. They had to ask the students had to ask the couple, how did you develop your faith? And what was that journey like? And we had some great feedback from that. Some students got to be really close with these mentors, these couples, and these couples got to be close to our students. So we're expanding that this coming fall. And so we're excited about opportunities to get connected with not just students on campus, but with our faculty, staff, and our local churches. Another thing we do is we bring local campus ministers on campus, and they're deeply involved in chapel, presenting chapel services. They're leading singing in chapel. We're trying to make sure that there's opportunities for them to be connected. And then, sometimes, guys, it's tough. It is tough being a student on campus. And sometimes we have some students that need some extra encouragement through mental health counseling. You mentioned Roxy Wisham earlier. Roxy is a rock star counselor, and he also looks just like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. And in fact, this year he was Bass Pro Shop's #1 rated Santa Claus in Prattville, Alabama.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so awesome. In addition to being Santa Claus, he is a great guy to connect with. We've got additional other counselors. We've added several counselors this year through a grant that we received. And so we're serious about helping students be connected spiritually. We're serious about them being connected with regard to leadership on campus. And then we're serious about students being connected for mental health services and other attention and assistance, whether that's through mental health or through academic counseling. We want every student to be successful because every student matters every day here at Faulkner.
Well, what you were saying about the connecting to the adults, I think that's huge. Those mentorship programs like that, where you can pair up, young people with the older and let the older people teach them some of those life lessons you don't always get in school, and just the relationship. I love the new push. I've got a guy that goes to church with us that taught at Heritage for a little while, Michael Jackson, of all names. I know it always elicits a little bit of laughter, but Michael does a great job with generational ministry and with kind of presenting that to churches. I know Lonnie Jones does some stuff with that as well. And just that thing of not being these separate groups, but learning that even we're one church, even with the different generations, and learning how to connect with each other. And I think, our time where we went to school, where I went at Freed, the people who were over our social clubs, the adults that were kind of over it, you got to be close to them. And even now, you just have that special bond. And and relationship with those people. So I think that's huge to be able to have that connection. I got to ask you a question that's off the rails a little bit, okay? And Travis you can do whatever with this, but I got to know about the baskets that are hanging behind you.
So, my father-in-law, Clinton Harden, he lives in Moulton, Alabama. It's near Decatur. He's just a great, godly man, and he has been in the cattle business for years. In fact, my son, Mitchell, has moved to Moulton and bought into that business, and my father-in-law has been mentoring him. Well, as my father-in-law has exited the cattle business, he's gotten into woodworking. So these boxes, let's point to, let's go this way. All right, so this box...
It's hard, man.
There we go.
Yeah, that one.
That one. There we go. That box is from 150-year-old barn wood he got off of his place, and he made that box. This box is from wood that came from a tree that he sawed down on the farm, drug it to a sawmill, sawed it into boards, took the boards, put them in an old chicken house and cured them, and then brought out the boards, planed them, refined them, put that letterbox together, and there it is. And similar for other boxes, now, except for the one above my head, okay, right up there. That one, that one is just an old chicken laying box from the chicken house. He did not make that one. That one was purchased back in the 30s. But the other ones are boxes that he made. They're handcrafted, and God bless him. When we have dignitaries that come on campus, my standard gift to the ambassador of Brazil, who visited us in the fall, to the American consulate from Israel that came on campus a few weeks ago to visit with us, I will give them a handcrafted letterbox, and they really appreciate that. I got a wonderful letter from the Israeli consulate. She received a hickory pecan box that had just beautiful, beautiful wood, just well refined. And she went on and on about it, and presented me with a prayer plate that says Shalom on it from Jerusalem. Nice handcrafted ceramic plate. So when you guys come see me, we can eat some candy off my plate when you come down.
That's amazing. Sorry, I thought those were very interesting wall pieces, so I had to kind of find out the story of them.
We've got a decorator, Delisha Fuller, and she found those in my things that I brought to my office, and she says they're just too beautiful. You got to put them up there, and hey, it'll be a great conversation starter. And
there you
lo and behold, Ben, you got it. You started the conversation.
You'll have to tell her there are curious minds in the world who want to know. So I love it. Well, we know that you guys do a lot. We've already talked about a lot of things that are going on, but we know that you guys have some campus events that are coming up in the summer and in the fall. You has been underneath us this whole time. If you're watching online, the Leaders Connect Retreat, June the 12th through the 15th at Faulkner. And then you have your lectureship that you guys have been having October the 22nd through the 28th. So we're just going to see if you could fill in some details, tell us kind of what you're most excited for about these events that are coming up.
You bet. Let's start with Leaders Connect. So here you go.
There you go.
Would love for you guys and your churches to send us your ministers, your elders, your deacons, and your Bible class teachers to this retreat. You may want to come just for the economic benefit of being here. For $125, you get 3 nights lodging on campus and 9 meals. This event is heavily subsidized by Faulkner University and through some generous donations from the Nashville Church of Christ and many other churches. And it is an amazing event. I attended it last year for the first time. And this year's theme is connecting and being practical and relevant. And what you're going to experience when you come is not just great ministers who are giving important lessons on our theme, but you'll also experience attorneys and licensed counselors who are going to give these church leaders a special measure of practical advice and information related to current church issues. So, for example, Melvin Otey, who is one of our top-rated law school professors at Jones Law School, which is Faulkner's ABA accredited law school. Melvin Otey will give a seminar on legal issues that pertain to the church. It'll be a broad survey, issues, everything related to potential lawsuits, to training staff, to avoid issues regarding abuse, avoiding defamation. It is a must-go-to, must-attend portion of the Leaders Connect retreat. Another attorney who's going to be speaking to us is John Kraft. John Kraft runs our elder law clinic at our law school. And so locally, elderly people can come to our law school, and our students work with John Kraft, who's a licensed attorney, to get their own last wills and testaments, durable powers of attorney, and living wills. And all those documents are needed. And let me just say a little footnote. I practiced law for 29 years myself before I became a college president. I'm not an academic guy, so I try to be very practical and relevant. You elders and deacons and ministers who are listening out there, if you've got elderly folk in your congregation, actually, if you've got people in your congregation who are married with children, or they're older and elderly, and if they don't have a last will and testament, then you're not doing as good a job as you need to be doing providing shepherding care for your flock.
Good point.
Because every person who's married with children, every person who is elderly needs to have these important documents. It's just good stewardship of God's creation and what we've been blessed with. Because if you don't have those things, well, you run into some problems and issues. So John Kraft is going to talk about legacy giving. He's going to talk about these needed items and give some hints to ministers and as well as elders and deacons on how they can encourage their congregation to be prepared for the one event in this life that we're all going to face, and that's our death. Mm. So that's just a couple of examples. One other attorney that we're going to have is Matt Clark. Matt is a constitutional scholar and a devout believer. He's going to be speaking about LGBTQ plus and all the other prefix issues as it relates to churches. So what does a church do if they're approached by a homosexual couple that wants to use the church building for an event and they have some connection with the church? What should a church do if they have a minister that attempts to change gender, or what is the appropriate way to deal with that? In addition to that, we've got Steve Wages, who's a licensed counselor. Steve runs our Cloverdale Center for Youth and Family Ministry. And Steve will be talking about and giving practical advice to ministers, elders, and deacons. What do you do when you have a young person in your youth ministry or college ministry who indicates that they're struggling with homosexuality or indicates that they want to make a transition with regard to gender? This is practical nuts and bolts advice that every church leader needs to be aware of in this present time. So I'm excited about that. It starts on Monday, June the 12th with a dinner that night. I'll be speaking that night, and it runs through lunchtime on Thursday, June the 15th. We've got some great folks that are going to be involved in it. We've got our own David Hester, who's an amazing teacher, trains our guys and girls to be able to teach the Bible. Mark Posey is going to come from Winfield Church of Christ. We'll be talking about post-pandemic issues when it comes to preaching. He'll give 2 lessons regarding that. We've got Roy Johnson that'll be giving an update regarding Last of Leaders. Sam Long is going to be talking about building a contagious church. So coming out of the pandemic, how do we use the desire and that longing to be spiritually connected? How do we get back together? We've got John Kackelman, who's going to be talking about capitalizing on live streaming and the nuts and bolts to maximizing church technology. So it's going to be a great seminar. I've left off a number of people.
But a lot of hands-on stuff.
Absolutely.
A lot of churches that are questioning some of those things and wondering about some of those things and how do we deal with this stuff. And so there's a lot of practical things that are going to be talked about, not just preaching, but about ministry and about church work. I think that's a great event. And your lectureship, I assume, will have a lot of the similar type things that you'll do then again in October, but probably a little bit more into the ministry side of things too.
I'm glad you mentioned the lectureship, Ben. I appreciate that. Let me say this. Faulkner has not had a lectureship for the last 4 or 5 years. Okay. We just haven't. And one of the things that I was committed to doing, and I shared with the board when I was being interviewed about this job last year, this lectureship is important, and we need more than ever during the times that we live in. We need the opportunity for fellowship together, but we also need the opportunity for specific training in the gospel and how we're going to connect with this generation now and how we're going to deal with the issues that are coming up nationally and globally. And they're serious issues. But beyond that, I'm sensing that there's a spiritual awakening happening, that there's a longing for spiritual connection as we get out of this pandemic now, more so than I've ever seen. I'm seeing it on our campus. We've got students getting baptized. You've seen it in the media amongst some other churches and some other college campuses that are religious in nature. Guys, there's an opportunity for people to connect with the gospel and reconnect that way. And that's the theme of our lectureship, which is October the 22nd through the 26th. Reconnect. And our theme is, how do we go about connecting with the gospel of Jesus Christ? A couple of highlights from that. We've got some amazing keynote speakers coming from all over the place. We'll have some fellows whose name are Jenkins with us. We'll have some folks named Gray. Just some excellent folks that'll be here with us. In addition to great speakers, we're going to have a good old-fashioned, solid debate between an atheist and a Christian.
Wow.
I don't know the last time I've seen one at one of our campuses. Maybe they've happened. I just haven't known about it. But Kyle Butt with Apologetics Press is going to debate Michael Shermer, who is a nationally known agnostic. And that will happen on Wednesday, October the 25th. We're dismissing our classes. We're going to take the full chapel time and dismiss classes. We want our students to be here and be a part of that debate and experience that. There is a second debate that we're working on either for this year on Thursday or for next fall, 2024. And that will be a debate between attorneys on the issue of whether or not the Supreme Court should revisit the Obergefell case, which legalized and mandated same-sex marriages. And, we've overturned Roe v. Wade with the current court that we have. We hope that debate will be moderated by an Alabama Supreme Court justice who we've communicated with to be our moderator. So that should be another wonderful debate. If that happens this year, it'll happen on Thursday. If it happens next year, it'll be the keynote debate on Wednesday of our lectureship then. But we're so excited about that. We hope that your whole congregations will come and be a part of that experience.
That's awesome.
Sounds like some great events. Wow, some great things and happening at Faulkner, as there's always something going on down there. Y'all keep it busy, and probably a good thing with all those college students running around. You want to keep them busy, but especially the ones that I know that are down there. But as per tradition on this podcast, we like to end with a fun question. I think all the questions are fun, but one that kind of reveals your personality. What is your jam in the car? So if you're driving to one of these events that I'm sure you speak and go around and meet a lot of people, and that song comes on, it doesn't matter who's in the car with you. You're probably going to sing. You might even play air guitar or air drums or whatever, safely, of course. Maybe roll down the windows. What is that song or songs? You can feel free to share a couple. I know it's sometimes hard to knock it down, or maybe there's just an artist that maybe kind of gets you going.
Well, I'm kind of partial to ancient Baroque music. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well,
it's not Baroque. Don't fix it. I mean,
What I really love listening to is I'm a classic country kind of guy. George Strait, Amarillo by Morning. I'm a cowboy, got cattle, Angus cattle. My son Mitchell is more of a cowboy than me. He actually has a horse that survived. But I love classic country music, and that's what I sang growing up on the tractor. It's what I still sing if I'm in the tractor, out bush hogging somewhere. I love classic country. When I was in college, I was walking through the jungle in Jamaica, and I was by myself. My partner had turned her ankle, and so we were going door to door, but I was going door to door by myself. And I'm in this really, really just backwoods area, and all of a sudden I hear the violin part of Amarillo by Morning. Oh, wow. And I'm kind of like, Pepe Le Pew and the Looney Tunes cartoons when he smells the thing that he wants to get to, or Bugs Bunny. If he smells a carrot, the aroma of a cooking carrot, he'll just float and follow. That was me. I was gonna find Amarillo by Morning, and I walk up to this shack, and it had a dirt floor, but this lady had a CD player, and she was playing George Strait. And I said, ma'am, I just got to tell you, I'm homesick. I'm lonely. I'm a country boy from South Alabama. Where in the world did you get George Strait, and why are you playing it in the jungle of Jamaica? And she said, this is let me quote the way she said. She said, this is the best music in the world.
Amen.
She said, I've been listening to that reggae stuff all my life. She said, this is the best. She said that's all she listens to now. So go figure.
I love a lot of the names you listed. Like you said, you're going to leave somebody off for sure. And I was looking at the brochure, and I saw that Billy Lambert is going to be on one of your panels. And Billy Lambert, one of our good friends, Ray Reynolds, does a tremendous job to get to know your Bible. I know it's in video, but they also put out the podcast, which of course we encourage anybody to check them out. But you got some awesome folks coming to campus, and this wasn't on the script, but I hear there's a former All-Pro, future Hall of Fame quarterback that's going to be hanging out with y'all a little bit in the near future, and that'd be Drew Brees. And I told my wife Drew Brees was going to be your fundraising speaker. And she was like, now we may have to look into that. She's a big fan, and I like Drew Brees. I think it'd be hard not to like Drew.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, why do y'all want to have a football player down there? The ladies aren't going to like it. I said, you don't understand.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have more ladies
Yes.
in our audience this year than men.
Yes.
I mean, what a guy. He is truly, nobody's perfect, but I'm telling you, Drew Brees is a believer. He is a person that has been an overcomer, and that is so consistent with our mission here at the university. I mean, the guy, won comeback player of the year. He had multiple career-ending injuries, and he had the grit and determination to come back from that. But also, he and his wife, their sweet family, they have donated millions of dollars to some very important charities and help New Orleans come back from the worst natural disaster in American history, from Hurricane Katrina. So we're thrilled to have Drew Brees here. It's a change from the politics that we've had generally for our benefit dinner speakers for a while. We're excited about Drew Brees coming here. And if you had a chance to get him, why wouldn't you get him? We're fortunate we had a chance to get him. I am so excited. Can't wait to get my picture made with him. Drew Brees will be here in October, October the 5th. Montgomery, Alabama, Thursday night, Faulkner benefit dinner. Would love for you to be here. Bring your families and your bride. Would love for us to have the biggest crowd ever. It's a moving experience. We got great folks. Billy Kemp, Wayne Baker, our advancement team, Pat Gregory. They do a wonderful job helping us choose themes. And over the last few years, the theme that we pick often is as big of a draw and as big of a moment as the benefit dinner speakers that we have. And we've had former presidents. We have the Prime Minister of England. We're serious about having entertaining, wonderful speakers. But I'm telling you guys, the theme for the past several years, it stole the show and sometimes upstaged our speakers a little bit. So we're excited about October 5th. We hope you guys can come.
Thank you so much for taking time to be with us and organizing and heading up a lot of these events. And I know you've got a lot of support staff. You mentioned some of them that make that happen. And so thank you to them as well. But thank you for being with us.
You bet, guys. It's been a real pleasure. You guys rock. Travis, Ben, God bless you for what you do. And thank you so much for the opportunity for me to be on here today.
Thank you for being on with us. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of our listeners. And we ask them to do themselves a favor and click all of these links to the bio, especially for the Leaders Connect, and join President Henry June the 12th through the 15th. Join him for the dinner on October the 5th, and join him as well on October the 22nd through the 28th for the lectureship. I know those will all be really great events for them. And do us a favor by hitting the subscribe button and leave us a 5-star review and rate. And we really appreciate everybody who is out there listening to us. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, guys. Soar Eagles.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.